Hey guys, I'm back again for another video. So yeah, I thought I'd do something a little bit different today. I've been getting a lot of questions about this stunning guitar. A lot of people asking about the pickups, you know, what year is it from and whatnot. So as you can probably tell from the title of this video, I'm very fond of this guitar. I've had it close to about a year now. So yeah, I thought we'd turn the cameras on and do a bit of me talking about this guitar really. So I hope you enjoy the video. So yeah, here we go. Like I said, I brought this guitar about a year ago. Been playing it pretty much, you know, every day. For those of you who are my students, you'll be very familiar with this guitar. A lot of people have seen it on YouTube on my channel as well. So it's a Les Paul Custom from 1983. So it's an old one, hence the colour, sort of like a, well, I always call it a custard sort of yellow, I guess. So it would have been white originally when it was out of the factory, but now it's gone sort of like a, you know, a nice kind of old vintage sort of colour. I'm a massive Rhoads fan, so you can kind of see why I pulled the trigger on this one. And yeah, it's all original. It has had a refret, but other than that, you know, original pickups, everything else, you know, all original. So we'll get some close-ups in a bit, and I'll sort of talk you through a few of the unique features this guitar has. So I brought this guitar from a guy named Craig who runs a shop in Liverpool called Protone Music. Really highly recommend Craig. He's a great guy. He actually ended up driving the guitar all the way down to me, which was, oh gosh, over a 200-mile round trip or something ridiculous, just so I could have it, you know, safe in one piece, and you know, I didn't open the case with a cracked headstop or anything. So yeah, a lovely guy, highly recommend. The guitar originally came from a collector in New York actually. So it's in insane condition. I have since been putting some dings in the back of it, not on purpose obviously, just general play wear, got sweaty hands, so been fading down the gold harder a little bit, as you can see on the pickups. But yeah, lovely guitar, and like I said, I'd better do some playing actually so you can hear it. So these are the original pickups. They are Timshaws. They're very sort of highly desirable pickups. So this is the bridge pickup. What I love about these pickups is they're really dynamic, so you can kind of give it some dig into the string. That lovely kind of classic rock sort of bite, but you can just pick a bit softer as well. You get nice sort of cleaner tones, as to be expected with, like, you know, these classic pickups. And the neck pickup, a lovely sort of creamy tone. So an all-round lovely guitar really. Like I said, we'll switch to some close-ups in a second, and I'll talk about some of the unique features this guitar has. So like I said, from 1983, it was the kind of, well, as far as I know, the only year that Gibson sort of started using these weird strap locks. They're called posi locks, and they're, I guess, Gibson's answer to the sort of shallow strap locks and, you know, the things that we are sort of used to these days. And it's essentially just, I guess, a diamond-shaped strap lock there. So once you put the strap on in the right position, it sort of keeps the guitar, you know, safe from that. And as far as I'm aware, they only did that in, you know, this 83 year apparently. Another weird feature is, you know, if you're used to a Les Paul, you'll notice that this bridge is a little bit different here. It has sort of like no post that it's drilled into. So this is what apparently I've read is a 7 sort of point adjustable saddle. So I've not taken it apart yet because it's set up fantastic as it is, but you can actually adjust this to get a sort of like really fine intonation, I guess. Again, from what I've read, they did that from 82 into 83, and then after that they went back to the sort of the normal tailpiece as you'd normally see them, I guess. So quite unusual. And then of course the pickups that's the main reason why everyone wants a guitar from the early 80s, just that classic Tim Shaw sort of PF type clone pickup, I guess. So yeah, I'll do some more playing for you, I guess. I should play some Randy Rhoads stuff really, because that's what everyone's thinking when they see this sort of guitar. So here's a few riffs. Go for the obvious one as well. So yeah, a bit of an all-round guitar. It's not just good for the rock stuff, it does pretty much anything you want to play on it. Throw a pedal in front of the amp and you get some more metal tones out of it. Clean it up, it sounds great. I mean, I'm not really a jazz player, but you can get all sorts of tones you wouldn't expect out of Les Paul, Just embarrassing myself for my lack of jazz chords there and speech. But yeah, so that's a bit more about the guitar. Like I said, I've had it almost a year now, and a lot of people ask, what's it like compared to the other Les Paul that you might have seen on the channel, the black Les Paul Custom. And the pickups on this are certainly a little bit more higher output than the black Les Paul. And the neck on this is another interesting thing. It's slightly slimmer. My black Les Paul is a 1957 reissue from the 90s, and it's a lovely guitar. Had a hard time sort of deciding which one was the favourite to begin with. Nice problem to be in, I guess. The black Les Paul was one I sort of used more for live work, and the white one here was more of use it for my videos and for teaching on. So, but the more I've played it, I've got to be honest, I'm switching over to this one. So it really has become my go-to guitar. So I'm using 10-52s on this guitar. I use Dario strings, they're great. One interesting thing I do on this, I actually wrap the strings over the top of the tailpiece. If you play a Les Paul or a Gibson style guitar, I'm sure you've seen this kind of thing before. But I do get questions on like, what's the point, why do I do it? I guess I saw a photo of Zakk Wylde doing it and I thought, oh, I'll give that a go. It looked pretty cool, but there is, some people say, a benefit to it. People say it reduces the break angle over the bridge here, which sort of gives the string a slightly slinkier feel and will hopefully stop people snapping the strings as much. So it's something I've been doing on my live guitars because, the extra adrenaline, sweaty hands, whatever. I sort of hit quite heavy anyway, and live it just, it gets a bit full on, so I'm always snapping strings. So thicker gauge and top wrapping like this sort of stop me snapping my strings live, basically. So doing it for quite a while now and just sort of got into the habit of doing it, really. Like I said, a lot of people I respect, Zakk Wylde, Bonamassa, Billy Gibbons does it. I mean, loads of great guitar players, I've seen them do it, so I thought, why not? And it's just sort of stuck that way. It's a bit more awkward, to be honest. You got to, you know, push the strings through and then pop them back over. But yeah, it's been working out great for me. So yeah, the Darios 1052s. This guitar's got ridiculously low action. It is a dream to play. You know, I'm always picking it up when I go to grab a guitar. It's the go-to guitar at the moment. You know, you can see why it's beautiful. Yeah. So it's not just me who's a big fan of this guitar. I took it down to see Ramesh Dodongoda with my band Evade Escape in January. We went to his studio in Cardiff, a place called Longwave Studios. And Ramesh is an incredible guy, you know, super respected producer. Recorded some big names, Motorhead, Bring With Horizon, all sorts of bands, you know, all sorts of stuff. But, you know, for rock music, he's the go-to guy. And I took a few guitars down with me, and, you know, Ramesh has got loads of cool gear. Loads of guitars. He's got a wine red custom, actually. It's beautiful if any of you have seen photos of his studio setup. And he said, well, what guitars you brought? And I said, oh, I brought a couple of Les Pauls. And, you know, I was kind of fully expecting to use his guitar because they're all set up for the way he likes to record. You know, he's got all those new Fishman Fluence pickups and whatnot. And I thought, oh, he's probably not going to be mad on an old-fashioned guitar like one like this because he's used to hearing the sort of, you know, the most modern pickups, the best stuff money can get, you know. And we plugged this one in, and he was pretty blown away by it, which obviously I was very chuffed with. So we ended up recording all the guitar tracks on this guitar. We did use a Strat or a Telecaster in places, but for all the heavy riffs, it was this guitar into a mixture of amps. He's got a great setup, like I said. But yeah, I was very keen, and he was sort of asking me all sorts of questions about these pickups. So like I said before, the Tim Shaw PF style pickups, I guess, and lower output than any of your modern day Seymour Duncans or DiMarzos, but they really just have a great sound. And we were having a bit of a joke about you know, what makes this guitar sound so great, and I was saying, you know, it's the whole vintage argument versus modern. You know, a lot of people like the modern, more powerful guitars, but there's something to be said about the lower output pickups and the old, you know, just the old woods of a guitar. I'm a bit of a believer in the whole tone wood thing, but you know, that's not a very popular thing to get into, I guess. But yeah, it was interesting to hear this one, like I said, 1983 up against his wine red one, which I think's early 2000s, and he favoured this one every time. So yeah, it was I was very happy with that recording session, you know. So yeah, like I said, it's I had to make sure I took the right case home because I thought he was going to nick it off me actually at one point, but you know. But yeah, so it's been all over my band's latest recording, which will be released very soon, so keep an eye out. I'll be doing a few bits on a different channel about that. Cool, so here's the case, 3 big bulky latches on it, nice and secure. Here's another one here, and this one here which I always forget about. Cool, so like I said, it's quite a bulky case. It's one of the original chainsaw cases, and blue on the inside. That's what it looks like, nice and fluffy. Would make a good bed for a cat maybe, or a small animal. So this is where the guitar lives, and I'm not using it obviously. Really nice supports here for the neck actually. That's one thing a lot of people are always scared about with Gibsons, the headstock sort of snapping and whatnot, but you know, no issues with that on this. It's really nice and secure. So I'll just take the guitar out so you can see the case nice and, like I said, nice and fluffy, very paddy. You've got a little compartment in here, get rid of this cloth, and this is really useful for keeping things like, you know, strings, biscuits, you know, got some custard creams in there. You know, you get peckish when you're playing guitar. So got the original little key there for adjusting the old truss rod, which I've never had to use. Like I said, I try and keep it pretty full stocked up with biscuits in there, so I don't like to get too many of the bits in there in the way, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much the case. So like I said, fits like a glove, as they say. yeah, it's heavy when you pick it up. This thing weighs quite a bit, so you know, gotta be careful with it. But yeah, there you go. That's what the case looks like. You know, so yeah, hopefully you're gonna see it. You're gonna see a lot more of it on the channel for sure. I'm gonna be trying to learn more Randy Rhoads stuff. Is my little challenge to myself. So you know, phenomenal guitarist. You know, not just known for playing the Les Paul, obviously, but every time I see an old-fashioned, you know, vintage Les Paul like this, like first thing I think of is Randy Rhoads, as I'm sure a lot of you will be the same. So yeah, like I said, just wanted to do a quick little bit of playing and a bit of close-ups on the guitar. If you've got any other questions on the guitar, you know, please let me know. Like I said, I don't know too much about this one. It came from a collector, like I said, in New York, and Craig at Protone was nice enough to sort me out with an amazing deal on this guitar. So yeah, absolutely love it to bits. It's in amazing condition. Just starting to show a bit of age where I'm sweating over it frequently. But yeah, so again, if you're new to the channel, this is a little bit different to what I'd normally do. I'd normally do guitar lessons, you know, the play along tabs thing. It's all classic rock, sort of glam rock, that kind of thing. But I'm now branching out into all sorts of things now. Now I can sort of talk on camera, learn how to do that, just about. So expect all sorts, really. If you've got any you know, questions or things you want me to do, I'm hoping to look at some pedal reviews soon, all sorts. I mean, we've got all these lovely amps behind me, so especially the Plexi. I don't know if you can see it up here, but this is a super special amp, so you can't see it up there. I just figured out the camera angle's not high enough, but we'll do a close-up. So we just acquired an old Plexi here, and it's a very special one. I don't want to give the story away just yet, because hopefully that'll be another video, but stay tuned for that one. So yeah, if there's anything else you want to hear me doing on the channel, or you want more of the lessons or whatever, just let me know. So I'll play you out with something. So thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for the next video, which is my normal upload, back to the solos at the weekend. So yeah, here we go. Oh, did you get crumbs on that?